coders, and welcome to another Teach Me to Code podcast. This is your host, Charles Max Wood, and this week we're going to be talking about some RSpec Matchers. RSpec is really a cool tool. I think I've shown it in a few other episodes here or there, and some other people have shown off some of the syntax. It really gives you some really clean tests. So let's go ahead and write a quick test. I created this file called contain_spec, but I think I'm actually going to rename it to RSpec. This is just a quick example of how to set up custom matchers in RSpec. So let's just go ahead and write a spec for array real quick. And specifically what we're going to do is we're going to write a spec that demonstrates that an array contains specific elements inside of it. So for example, it contains its elements, for example. So then what we can do is, let's just go ahead and write a really quick matcher here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, spec matchers.define, and this just sets up a matcher, and I'll show you how to use it in a minute. Contains, and we're going to give it an element, okay? And so what that does is it gives us an argument like this. Let's say we have an array, 1, 2, 3, 4, just as an example, okay? So then what we do is we say that we want to make sure that it should contain 4. Okay, so let's come up here and really quickly say match do container, and the container is the caller. That's what should is called against. So container is going to be this array right here. Let me see if I can blow this up just a little bit more. All right, so then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say container.include element. Now, the reason that we're doing this is because you can't, for example, do this. If we put this into its own array, we can't say array.should include 4. And that won't work because include means something else. It's already defined as a method within Ruby. You can do this because there is the matcher for question mark ending methods like this. So you see the include there. But should be include, it just doesn't read right. And I really like my tests to be clean. So let's go ahead and take this out, and let's head over to our terminal again really quickly and run our spec. So no method error, undefined method contain. Oh, and it's because we misnamed it here. So should contain. Okay, now let's try it. And it passes. Okay, so there are a few instances here that we want to make sure work. So let's do this, and then let's say array should contain 5, just as an example here. And if we run our spec again, it should fail. And we see expected the array to contain 5. Now, let's say that instead we wanted the message to be expected 5 to be in the array. So what we'll do here is we'll say failure message for should, and then we'll give it the container again, and then we'll say expected element dot inspect to be in container dot inspect. So now if we come back out here, we can see that expected 5 to be in blah blah blah. So there's another instance that we can have fail the test, and that is this array should not contain 3. So let's go ahead and run the test again. And, oh, that's right. It fails on this test, and so it won't run the subsequent tests. So let's run it. So now we have expected this array not to contain 3, which is what we wanted. But again, maybe we want a little different message. So let's just copy this. And this is failure message for should not. And so then if we run the spec again, expected 3 to be in. So let's change this. Not to be in. Oh, save it. And that's a real quick and dirty example of RSpec Matchers. If you have any cool matchers, feel free to leave a comment on the on this episode, and you know, just put a gist up on GitHub or let us know what repository they're in, and we'll check them out. All right, thanks. New Relic is the leading provider of application performance management tools for Ruby and Java applications. Thousands of companies use New Relic RPM to monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize applications deployed either in the cloud or in dedicated hosting environments. RPM Lite is free, fully supported, unlimited time version available at www.newrelic.com. All the leading Rails companies use New Relic, including 37 Signals, AT&T Interactive, Shopify, OurStage, IGN, and lots more. This episode is sponsored by Jumpstart Lab. Jumpstart Lab offers private and corporate training in Ruby, Rails, and related technologies. They're experienced educators, not just good developers, and will get you going quickly. Courses can be scheduled in the U.S. or around the world and curriculum customized to meet your needs. Learn more at jumpstartlab.com.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved it.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!